Good day, I'm Ben Seymour of Kudzu Patch Productions, and I have another instrument to show you today. This is a repair, actually a restoration. This is a Homer Ledford dulcimer. It is number 2575, and then underneath it, it has two little marks beside the letters SP, so I mean, maybe that means it's special. But anyhow, this one has a yellow poplar top and has a walnut back and sides and walnut fretboard and everything. This was one of those, I've had a couple of these where this was in storage and the sides had just popped out because just straight. And they're particularly hard to put back in because he didn't use any kerfing. And the sides are not very thick either. They're about 0.085, so 85 thousandths of an inch thick. And so there's not a lot to glue to, but I managed. And I could see where the original glue lines were, so I put it right back where he had the original glue lines. And in order to do that, I had to take the back off in order to get to that. There was also a little chip along one side here, just a tiny chip, and it's where the back had actually shrunk as well. And so the back would no longer fit on there. So I went through about 25 pieces of walnut and found one that kind of that matched, and cut a little straight line, glued it back in, and I can't see where I did it, I'll tell you the truth. I was rather proud of that. So anyhow, there was also a hairline crack on the top, and when I took it apart, of course, that hairline crack needed some reinforcement, so I put a couple of cleats inside there to make sure that it didn't come loose and resealed that crack as well. This is one of those strange ones. It's set up with 5 strings. It's a double melody, double middle string, and then a single bass with that 1/3 fret that runs across all of them. These are staple frets, and there's the 1/3 fret that runs across all of them. As with most of the Homer Ledfords I've run into, intonation is pretty horrible after a certain point. This one does okay up until about 6. You can push to 7, and after that it's just like, part of that is probably because of the action is so high. It's incredibly high here, and there's not really anything you could do with that because the way he has this thing set up, if you had lowered where the saddle was and stuff like that, it would be down below where the holes were for where the strings were attached. I mean, you could just kind of drill holes through it and stuff, but if you wanted restoration quality, you can't do that. So anyhow, there's very little angle break back here as it is. If I'd lowered the nut or the saddle at all, it's like it wouldn't have had any, it wouldn't have had a point of contact here, so that would not have worked. But anyhow, so that's what we've got here. It's a nice sounding little box, solid fretboard. It is not hollowed out because it's just stapled in the back. They're just regular staples, bump, 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 all the way along. And some other stuff, interesting little things about it. But I had to take the back off and replace it to get the sides out and stuff like that, and rebend the sides. The sides were just basically straight, so popped out from the edge. So anyhow, here I'll play a little tune, and I'll do it in the lower octave so you can hear what the instrument sounds like, and then I'll show you that intonation problem in the upper octave. So here's a little tune called Holy Manna. Okay, and this is, of course, is kind of a 1-5-5 tuning, although in this case, since it has the double strings in the middle and the treble, it's 1-5-5-5-5. But anyhow, I'll play that same tune starting on the 7th fret and let you hear what happens up above that. So. It's really, that's painful. So you've got a little bit of space down here you can work with, and I think sometimes, I'm not saying this particularly about Homer Ledford or anybody, but I think sometimes a lot of people buy dulcimers because they say, well, it sounded good when they demonstrated it, because it's like, yeah, you know, on a few frets there, you can go, you know, and it sounds pretty good. So it's just when you start playing anything else, it just doesn't work. So anyhow, here it is, a brand new restored, the Homer Ledford walnut and poplar dulcimer. Now sometimes also, I've mentioned on these, I repair these for other people. These are not instruments that I own. So sometimes I get messages, somebody's seen the video and they say, oh, do you want to sell that, Homer Ledford? And it's like, well, it's not mine. So anyhow, the only things basically that I own, except for a Clifford Glenn and a couple of Jacob Ray Meltons, are all mine, so that I built. So I don't have these. These are things that I repair for other people and restore. So anyhow, here it is, Homer Ledford dulcimer. If you have any repairs that you'd like, and I'll get the pictures of the repair up online before too long, you can see it was basically in parts, and now it's all back together again. So, but if you have any repairs you'd like done, or if you have custom instruments that you'd like built, feel free to contact us, and you can always find us at www.kudzupatch.net. Thanks a lot, hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.